Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very special edition of Unapologetically Uterine. I am your host, Vianney Estrada, and I want to say welcome to you during this spooky season. And it's nighttime. It's our first official live stream where we're doing it at night. And most importantly, we're doing it while we're gaming. So, this is a very exciting live stream for us. Today's topic is game night. Let's talk about SRHR while playing The Sims. So, we have our special guest, Michelle Moore. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Excited to be here and play with you.
No, I'm really excited for this. We've been wanting to do a game night for a long time, so this is really fun. I'm going to talk to our viewers a little bit about what we have planned today. So, video games have a really strong connection to storytelling, especially when they're focused on creating an identity. Michelle knows this really well because she is our gamer, our number one gamer here at Safe to Choose. So, when you think of The Sims, you think of a space where you can create someone however you want them to be, centering this around bodily autonomy and choosing how you want to live your life through this digital space, through this video game. On today's episode, we're going to be playing The Sims 4 while chatting about the connection between bodily autonomy and SRHR. Michelle, I want to again welcome you here and ask you, what do you feel about The Sims 4? Why is The Sims 4 the perfect game for us for this first game night?
Well, first things first, if you're want to test it out, nowadays the Sims for the basic game is free. So you are if you want to download it in your PC, Mac, or PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, except Nintendo Switch, that's fine. The other reason that it's more important that this free stuff is the fact that what I love about the Sims is that you can create your sim and tailor it like whatever you want. No? Like not only skin tone, but also like certain skin conditions, like vitiligo, for example. Like my mom has vitiligo, so I really like that. And also, it doesn't matter like what gender you identify with. You can also like choose your sexual orientation. Huh? So it's closer to reality. So I think that thanks to the Sims 4, people can experience like bodily autonomy and have fun at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with you. I think it's this thing that I mentioned in the beginning that people have the opportunity to kind of see how they would like to visualize themselves. We know that not everybody has the chance to do it in person, maybe because they're scared because of stigma, shame. They live in a smaller town where it's kind of not the norm to look a little bit different, or like you mentioned, have skin conditions. Maybe your race comes into play because of your skin tone. So there's a lot of things that can be varied. I think to begin this episode, maybe we can start opening up a character creation. I know that there's a lot of great expansion packs on The Sims right now that can help us kind of experiment with this. So, could you please show the people who maybe haven't played Sims before how we would go into creating a character?
First, let me know if the sound is good because for me right now it's quite like high, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure for your end. But if it's okay,
For me,
it's
it's
okay.
fine. Yeah, for me, it's fine. You sound great.
Perfect. Great. Well, I would invite you because this is my own game, but to go to the new game. hmm I was telling Anne that I just downloaded new expansions to have more options. Uh-huh. I mean, here you can like take a small fun personality quiz. I mean, this is fine because not all people like to take a lot of time
Mm-hmm.
creating their sim. Maybe some prefer the decor aspect. So yeah, I mean, for now, let's not take it so we can like manually do it, but just FYI that you can do it. hmm
I love this. I love that The Sims helps personalize it. And I think
So
it's true. Your personality really shows how you look like as a person.
exactly. So all right. Here it always shows you like one main like base character they just created out of nowhere. Uh-huh. But anyways, we can start by clicking on this team's head face to change it completely. Uh-huh. And but let's start with the name. I love starting with the name. I'm not sure if we want to be uh, he, she, or they, or
Uh-huh.
whatever we want to be. That's something I really love about the scenes. But Vianney, what would you prefer us to be
My my
today?
my intrusive thought is that I don't want to be a man, so I'm I'm fine if we are women.
I agree. As you can see, you can just change your pronoun, and that doesn't mean that you're going to change like your like how you look,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah, because that's
So
another
I
thing.
also
Hmm.
exactly no, but please go on.
Oh.
I was just going to interrupt by the fact that I forgot to click here, so we can play around with his physics first. But
I,
yeah.
I
That's something I like. But well,
I was going to mention that your pronouns don't necessarily have to be the normal stereotype. So, for example, if you identify as a she, her, or hers, you don't necessarily have to be super feminine with like super long hair and dresses and wear pink. Maybe you can, maybe you don't want to. So those are really different things. Like the way you identify for your gender, but also the way you
mm-hmm.
represent yourself in real life can be very different.
Exactly. All right. Also, I just changed a little the volume. Let me know if you still hear me correctly over the game.
I
But
hear
I
you
think that you
perfect.
can.
Yes.
Perfect. Because I was going to be like that if I kept on having it like that. I forgot I can just change this. All right. So let's have this same have a different look. Like, I mean, here you can customize your identity, like your gender, as you can see
Hmm.
here. You can define if you want to have a physical frame feminine or masculine. As you can see, I just changed it to feminine.
Hmm. Oh, the
You
hips
can
made
also
bigger.
select. Yeah, you can also change the clothing preference, like the idea of the status quo to use the masculine options for clothing and all that. I mean, I think the reason why we have these two options separated is just because the Sims 4 was launched in 2014. So
Mm.
it's been 10 years of they
Mm.
updating and updating and updating. Uh-huh. Probably if this was The Sims 5, if they happen to create that game, they
Uh-huh.
will have like a unisex option, but for now I think it's because of this, because they add on top of something, and so no, I mean web developers and video game developers will know best.
Hmm.
But yeah. I
I
mean we can play around to have it feminine or masculine. What would you prefer?
actually I had a question for you, Mitch. Since you're a long-time gamer, would you say that there's been a big advancement in the way that video games have introduced different types of body types, skin colors, and everything? Was there like a standard person when The Sims began?
Well, for example, for The Sims, it was quite funny. I think that yeah, it was like clearly separated between what people believe a woman should look like and a man.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they have this funny stuff in which even men can be pregnant.
Oh.
And I think since the very Sims 1, there has always been this option of having like openness in your sexual orientation. Like you just start having a relationship with a man if you're a man and a woman if you're a
Mm-hmm.
woman. Like that's something very Sim specific. But back in the day, people were not complaining. Like now, this is super woke, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like, dude, it's the Sims. It's always like that. So
Okay, that's
yeah.
so nice to know. And also, I want to introduce this. Well, the topic of today is bodily autonomy, right? So I feel like a lot of people use that word, but we don't always know how to define it. So I wanted to share this definition that I really liked from the Positive Women's Network, and they wrote, bodily autonomy is the simple but radical concept that individuals have the right to control what does and does not happen to our bodies. And like we mentioned, I think using video games, for example, The Sims 4, is a great way to visualize this because we're choosing exactly what we want and what we don't want for our bodies. And like we mentioned, maybe it's just a way to fantasize of what we would like in real life, but it's a nice way to actually think for a minute and say, if I could not be myself right now, who would I like to be? And then see what kind of changes you would like, or to see yourself represented in ways that maybe on other forms of media you don't have any representation.
Yes. I love that. I really love that. I think that is fantastic. In the end, it's just like a status quo, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is the idea I have for this, but the status quo is organic because we are humans and we keep on changing and adapting. So I think that's something I really love about us humans, if I'm honest.
I do too. I do too. So now going back to creating our Sims, what's the next step? What do we have to do? Oh yeah, so choosing the kind of aspect, right?
Then exactly, this is also something I really like, that you can define if your sim will be able to become pregnant, to get all the
Oh,
people pregnant, or neither.
that's great. We actually, if anybody's seen past episodes of Unapologetically Uterine, Gail, who is not here today, she always, always, always says, I don't want to be a mom. I don't want to be pregnant. I'm like, right now, I'm choosing that. So I feel like if Gail were here, she would say, no pregnancy, no children.
I always heard that I would love it to be like seahorses. Like, what the heck? What is this seahorse over here? Sorry, I like seahorses.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love that the males are the ones that are pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
So the dream.
The dream.
Yeah. Now, can this produce milk? I love this. Like, yes, let's put that. Yes. And also, now can this sim use the toilet standing? Like, you can even define how would you like to pee.
Wow. The Sims is asking the questions nobody else is asking.
Exactly. Like, what? I know. Let's leave it as a yes, just. Then, sexual orientation, like this sim is romantically attracted to men or women or both. So we can make it a B or whatever we want.
I think
Mhm.
both. I think both. Let's go for the inclusive route. I want to see how our Sims
Yeah,
reacts to different scenarios.
so that cool. Then the sim is exploring romantically. This is just for the people that love getting to know the sims in this case. Like, for example, I'm extremely asexual. So, but in this case, we can leave it as a yes, just to have say more fun because I'm happy. I
Mm-hmm.
love being my way, but anyways, just to have more options.
Okay. Okay.
And then this seems interested in woohoo with men women. I think that yes. And woohoo, you know what woohoo is, right?
Woohoo is what you can learn more about at Find My Method, just in case you have any questions about Woohoo.
Exactly. Then we can also have some romantic boundaries, which, like, for example, this is super interesting because it talks about, like, even emotional health. Like, this Sims feels jealous if any romantic partner engage in non-physical romance with other Sims.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know,
So,
now that I think about it, I think a lot of, I don't know if it's my perception, but I think a lot of younger people tend to play The Sims, or your first encounter with The Sims is when you're younger because it's an easier video game in a sort of sense. So I think it's nice that maybe teenagers or young adults are asking themselves these questions and really reflecting if maybe they're aromantic, maybe they're asexual, maybe they're pansexual, maybe they're straight, maybe they're bisexual. So it's good to see that there's a platform where people can actually think a minute about what am I? Like, who am I? What do I want for myself?
exactly. And also, like, they have a really nice community in Discord
Mm.
where you can ask whatever you want to us about the Sims, about other stuff. And I really like that even they are like promoting to have a community, you know, like a safe space. And I think that that would be really appreciated by teenagers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think so too.
Um, hmm, yeah. Then also, the theme feels genius if any romantic partner engaged in physical romance. As you can see at this exclusive, you know, like there are people that maybe feel jealous if someone is just speaking nicely on in a romantic, you know, way to another theme, and maybe they will feel like, oh no, don't do that, but they're not even like kissing, or they wouldn't like to share like partners. Like, I really like because it shows like all the dimensions that a person can have within himself,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
so themselves.
And I think it's good. I don't
So
I don't know. I've played some video games, but not as much as you. But would you say that there are any other video games that really encompass all of these factors about maybe sexual orientation, gender identity, um, any of these aspects that are kind of related to sexual and reproductive health?
not in like this in depth, but for example, one of the funniest I have played recently, The Cult of the Lamb, that is available on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Steam, almost everywhere. There, well, you're this small lamb, start having your cult, but there comes a time where you can have partners inside your cult, but some of them, depending on their personalities, may be jealous if you engage with others,
Mm-hmm.
or they will be fine with it. And also, there are other members that will be happy to reproduce with others,
Mm-hmm.
and others will be like, no, I never want to be a parent. I like that one. And there
Mm-hmm.
are, for example, Cyberpunk. I mean, maybe it's more tailored and more limited because, like, the game it's like an action game, but you can also like define if you are a female or a male, and you can also be like part of the LGBT community or not, and based on that, define your partner. But also the partners that you have as an options will be as you like. Maybe they are heterosexual, but maybe they are not. So you will also have your limitations. And Mass Effect as well, because you like this is even more fun because it's different races around the galaxy,
Mm.
and you can engage with different races like beyond gender.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can also define if you are a male or a female because you're a human. But yeah,
Yeah, I love
those four
this.
good
I
options.
love this. I think, it, I know there's a lot of opinions around video games, but I think some of the video games are a really great tool to help people understand a bit about who they want to be and what kind of uh, person, what kind of character, what kind of protagonist they would like to be, and it's interpreted via this way of storytelling. So I think that's really fun.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. Right. So here, no, like we can't define to. As you can see, we're still like we were born male, but we have a female body. We can live like this, or we can become female.
Let
I
me.
want to be a woman. I don't know what you want to.
I was gonna say, let me see my female version. I wanna. Ooh, I'm strong. Look at those abs.
Oh,
I like
to be
that.
like that.
I love that. I wish I had those abs. I'm fine with this one.
I know. I've been trying like every day doing some work to yeah, to prove that. All right. Also, we can define if we. I mean, this will be more difficult because we want to talk about like sexual and reproductive health and all that, and we will need an adult. But we can define is this seems a baby,
Mm,
a toddler,
uh-huh.
a child, a teenager, a young adult,
Uh-huh.
an adult, or an elder.
Oh yeah. Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know I could be a baby. I think for the purpose, like you mentioned of the video, let's go with young adult. I think
Yeah,
it'll make us our lives easier.
exactly. Also for the voice, no, like we can't change our tone,
Wow.
be be more cute. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh, that I like those. I like those.
Hmm.
That
At
sounds
the
like a
same
good voice.
time,
Uh-huh.
yeah, like a neutral. Also, we can define what type of walk style we would like a perky walk, a snooty walk, a
Mm-hmm.
swagger walk, and some feminine walk. And these all options are available to any gender you decide to use.
That's amazing. I said it again. I'm gonna say it again. The Sims really thought of everything. Of just everything for your personality.
Yeah, totally. Sorry. Default for now. All right.
Now, I have a question for you,
Then,
Mitch. We discussed how The Sims allows us to kind of observe who we would like to be and create our true selves. But I think there's also another part of this in which people might follow conventional beauty standards when creating their ideal Sims. The Sims. Why do you think people go for an option that's conventionally attractive or the norm of how we should look? And how can we combat this maybe intrusive thought of always trying to fit the beauty standard, even when we're creating characters.
That is so true. I think because again, no, it's so difficult to move away from what you were
Mm-hmm.
taught when you were young. So I think it's because of that. Also, like besides that, I think we also need to think about all the aesthetics all the people may have within themselves, you know. I mean, if you there's this like part of art in which you can analyze beauty,
Mm-hmm.
but if you base on, for example, different philosophers or experts, each one of them will have a concept of beauty and
Mm-hmm.
what is not beautiful. So it's up to the person to define what is beautiful and what is not. But to think like for me, right? Not to think about like what I'm seeing in the Hollywood movies. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a combination of cultural aspects, what we learned when we were younger, and also to accept that, you know, that we are all different, and maybe something that doesn't look appealing to me, it may be for another person, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all these like social construct that we need to handle. And something that I really like about The Sims is also this, you know, like you can click on her face, this case, and you have all these different types of like base faces.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And maybe most of the people, and now we're talking about another theme, no, like user interface.
Mm-hmm.
No, this whole user experience when someone is engaging with a video game, they are going to arrange it in the way that which are the top selected faces. Uh-huh.
Mm.
So as we can see that people may be clicking first with this blue-eyed person, no, that
Mm-hmm.
has the nose like this, and maybe they will wait more to click on this woman that has like a shorter profile,
Mm-hmm.
or this one with the eyes like that, shalala. But it's like a combination of they running these tests with players to check which are like the type of faces they would prefer.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that the Sims would like to be social responsible and would like to have a variety of faces.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond this, like for example, if you join that Discord community or if you follow influencers that exclusively talk about the Sims in YouTube, TikTok, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they create like very unique Sims. And I really like that because I feel that they are trying to get rid of that paradigm of beauty standards.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that little by little we are getting rid by playing, by doing like, let's call it a gaming activism, by
Mm-hmm.
creating other type of things that are not like necessarily the standards based on I always play in the United States, find me, but just because of the hub of Hollywood and all that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
And I like this too because maybe another aspect is maybe somebody lives in a country where there isn't that much variety ethnically. There are people who just look like them. That's the only face they know. So maybe they play a game like this and they realize, oh, there are different types of ethnic and racial characteristics that someone can have, and they all look beautiful. They all look stunning. They all look so unique. And I think that's a way to also deconstruct these ideas that we have, like you mentioned.
exactly. And now that I'm playing like with the different like hats, as
Mm-hmm.
this is like a label, I also love that they respect like all the cultural differences around the globe. Because nowadays there's people that would prefer, no, to
Mm-hmm.
wear this instead of not, or also to be fantastic and be part of Star Wars. Like you can simply become what you want to be.
Mm-hmm. And I love that. And because Sims is a simulation of life, of kind of a normal life of where you choose to work, if you choose to study, you choose kind of the way you want to live. Unrealistic in the sense that we can't afford houses anymore, but you can still afford a home in The Sims. So that's also a nice way to live out your dreams.
Exactly, and you can always cheat in case you don't have money. So, so yeah. Oh, look at this!
Oh, I
Oh,
love that.
I love that. Sorry, we both are Mexican, so
Oh, that's great for us.
we celebrate. Yeah.
It might be a
Oh yeah,
stereotype, but it's one I love, so I have no problem with it.
exactly. So yeah, that's an important aspect of when you create your Sims.
Hmm. So now that we have our Sims, what else are we missing so that we can bring her into her Sims life?
Well, now you can also like besides being a human being, you can define if you want to be an alien, a vampire, or a werewolf, and others. I just need more expansions. But yeah. In a week, we're going to launch a new expansion pack that is named Life and Death, and I really like. You should watch the trailer. I almost cried because I don't know. I'm quite sensitive with those topics,
Uh-huh.
but now you are also going to engage this beyond life, no? Like you are going to be able to have funerals to do and complete the bucket list that your character that passed away would like to complete.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is more realistic. As you can see, you now can. This is new. Pick a cause of death. Consumed by the mother.
Oh.
This is a plant. Death by anger. Death by drowning. This is so sad. Stop reading that. But
Yeah,
let's think
that's not
about the
my favorite.
positive.
I think I'll leave that one to the Destiny. I don't need to choose that one.
No. Well, yeah. Before like going forward with this creation, we just need to select a name. I mean, of course, the clothing, but we can skip that, and so we can move to the next scenario, where we can define like our aspiration. I mean, animals, either they love animals, athletic, they would like to engage into that, no, the athletics, creativity, to be creative. It can be from writers or artists. Defiance, to be mischievous. No, you can be the bad in this game. The family, because we know that that's also an aspiration, that there's people that simply would like to have a family, and that's great. Food, if you would like to become chef yourself. Fortune, if you are victim of the capitalism, this is your aspiration. Knowledge, if you would like to learn more and more, this is related to web development and also be like person with a lot of logic. Location, that they are just like happy enjoying their house. That's me. Love. Love is interesting because it's that you really enjoy and fall in love quite constantly with all Sims. Nature, you know that you are the ecologist, which is great. A popularity, that you just want to go party and get to know the people. And this is new werewolf because Halloween. That well, you just want to be a werewolf. So, which one would you like us to select?
I like either love or knowledge. Love because we want to talk about like the relationships and things. A knowledge because we're here to learn. We're here to learn a lot of things.
Sure. Go with love first.
Okay, let's go with love. And for the name, I know she doesn't look like her, but in honor of our missing co-host, can we name her Gail?
Gail. I use for last name P. Then pick preferences, and I think you can also define what your sim likes or dislikes. No, like maybe likes a hobby, from guitar, fitness, handiness, be a yoga, painting, physiology, piano, pipe organ. Oh my gosh. This is so random. Video gaming within a video game.
Oh, video gaming.
I know. Let's something random. In fact, let's randomize the traits and just change the species.
Okay.
So we can move forward. Oh, yeah, the preference still needs to be selected. Let's say that she likes black, red, purple. Activity. Dancing.
Uh-huh.
because I know she loves dancing.
I love this.
Mixology, because let's have some fun. I'm writing. I don't think liking anything, as you can see, just because I don't know.
But that's the most like real life. Our traits are kind of random, so I think that's the most
Exactly.
aligned. Hello, everyone. We are back after a brief technical difficulty, but we are just getting to the part where we have an amazing outfit. I don't know when this happened, but I love the outfit.
I don't know. He was like checking while you were away. But yeah, I'm just going to use the ones that are full body, so we move quickly. But yeah, because you need to customize everything because these Sims have a very busy life.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like The Sims is the epitome of choice of choosing what you want.
Look at flowery. Then what is this? Oh, to do some workout. Just this. Oh no, I can stand the tones. This one instead. Then for sleep. Who will sleep with a hat? I don't know. With a cap, basically. This one. For partying. Are you still there, V?
I'm here. I'm watching all the amazing
Okay,
outfits.
perfect. Oh, great. Yeah, right? Some are quite new. Leave it like it. Yeah. Teamwear. Oh my gosh, I forgot about her abs. Right? Uh-huh. This is quite vintage.
I like it. I like the outfit options.
Yeah, me too. The hot weather, because you can also get sick because of the weather
Oh, I
if
did
you
not
don't
know.
protect yourself.
I mean, of course, it
Yeah,
happens in real life. Why would it not happen here?
I know. I think that's quite new. Now a dress. But no more. Oh my gosh. What can we select? This one.
So
And cold weather.
that's really great. I like how they have the options. And while Mitch is choosing the final options because she's our stylist right now, I want to reiterate that the topic today is bodily autonomy. And I think one of the main things that we think about when talking about bodily autonomy is your sexual health and how you can choose what you want for your body in terms of your sexual health. So we were mentioning at the beginning, right, Mitch, that for example, there might be some people who are asexual who don't want to have any type of sexual relations, and that's really cool. And maybe that when you're thinking about your sexual health, you want to choose the right contraception option for you, which I don't think the Sims has like a variation, but as a person, you can choose different types of ways to protect yourself against unwanted pregnancies, against STIs, and honestly, bodily autonomy relates to sexual health because it gives us the option to choose what we want to protect ourselves, but also in the way that we want to explore and live our sexuality. Now, what do you think about this topic, Mitch?
No, yeah, I really like. I think I'm going to repeat myself, but yeah, like I would like to reiterate that. Not the fact, like for example, I'm playing around with all the skin details because this is super common, and in the end, it's just knowing that you are free to do whatever you feel it's right for you, but also taking care of yourself, of course, and at the same time to normalize some of the things that you have in your body, Like I was reading here, arm hair, for example, that you can add some arm hair. And I know that in the 90s, when I was a kid, like it was super like uncommon to see women having arm hair. I mean, I have, but I know that my sister, who is older than me, was always struggling and getting rid of it. And it's like, why are you keep on doing that to changing something that it's normal? And also acne. And also it's fine if you want to get rid of it, but what we try to say here is that you get rid of the things because you do it for yourself, but not just to do it for others, not just for them to accept you. I think that that's something we need to remind ourselves.
That reminds me. This is like a personal anecdote, but when I was younger, I never had an issue with body hair. I think for me it was just there. And then when I was in elementary school, some friends came up to me. They're like, "Oh, let me see your body hair." And I was like your arm hair. And I was like, okay, whatever. And they saw my arm hair. And they were saying, like, see, it's normal to have arm hair. And it's normal to have different types of hair on your body. And you shouldn't feel insecure about it. And I was like, wait, am I supposed to feel insecure about the hair on my body? That was the first time I became conscious of there are things that society tells you you shouldn't have. And I was like, wait, what? Wait, what? Like, why am I supposed to feel bad about this?
Exactly. It's like, I don't understand why. Like, can you please explain this to me? No? Shall we go with only GLP Sims, or do you want me to add someone else quickly? Let me know.
I think we can go with Gail P. Sims, our favorite co-host versions of The Sims.
Yeah. P. Sorry, it's funny. You can also randomize your picture in case you want to look different. So, FYI. The power of voodoo. Sorry.
I was gonna say the first safe to choose on how to use Sims, which I'm really happy about.
I also invite my hell of games loaded here. Let's go to spring. Yeah. Just because I always select fall, but I never select spring.
Or switching
Let's
it up.
be positive. Even though it's Halloween, I don't care because it's the South Hemisphere.
And we didn't go with wolf, so we didn't exploit the Halloween aspect.
Exactly. Okay, so we can select from different neighborhoods or residential worlds as they call them. But I think, vampires. I think it would be great if we go to the city.
I was thinking the same thing.
So let's go to San Mishuno. And hello. And we can select like an apartment to live.
Now, both of us are, I would say both of us are city girls, Mitch. How do you think you learned about sexual and reproductive health in the city? Do you think you had a good introduction to what SRHR is? Do you think that is something that you had to learn by yourself? How would the city experience influence in this?
It was by myself, but also receiving all these advertisement bombs from menstrual products, like, they are just want to sell them and talk about periods, and it's like, what is that? That I have a funny story about that when I got my period for the first time, I was 12. And, for people that have never experienced periods, like, you start feeling like if you were digging, like, some taste and flavor, like, if you were a pregnant person, so you're like, what the heck? Like, I really need to eat this or drink that. You are craving for that. Like, you could kill someone in order to obtain that. But in my case, I was craving a Coca-Cola. A small Coca-Cola that was frozen, and I was seeing a friend like drinking one, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, it was in a can. I wanted a can Coca-Cola. So I took it, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is so delicious. And I don't drink soda. So weird, no? So when I get home and I wanted to pee, I thought that I was peeing the Coca-Cola. And I was like, what the heck is this? Am I going to die? But no one told me that was going to happen soon. Of course, like we were having these like sex education classes in which people were telling us that that happens, but you never think about that it is going to happen to you
Uh-huh.
when you are like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Always like I'm not thinking about that. But once people, I mean, my mom and grandmother explained to me that that was not Coca-Cola, I was so happy. But then no one told me that it was going to last like for 3 to maybe a
Ah,
week.
uh-huh.
I thought it was forever. So we're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to live with this? And then I started to realize it was like stopping. And I asked like, what the heck? And they were like, oh, that's normal. But they know, like I was like playing a video game, like discovering with
Uh-huh.
every day passed all the
Uh-huh.
things. I have no idea how to shower. I have no idea about a lot of things, but little by little. That in the terms of period. No, for other stuff, it was a typical like, oh, if you don't want to have like sexual transmitted infections. I have no idea what those were. You need to use a condom, but you have no idea.
Uh-huh.
Like everything was like a video game. Like when you start a fresh start from like choose your favorite video game and discovering by falling, no, like playing Mario Bros. And no, and that was like the incorrect way to go through that, which I think it's a shame. And I mean, luckily for me, I have not experienced something super bad in
Uh-huh.
terms of like having an unwanted pregnancy. But again, no, luckily for me, of course, then I discovered that I'm not that fertile. And like, thank you. But anyways, it was like that to me, even though we are city people, I'm from the capital city, but I'm not sure
Uh-huh.
about you, B.
I think, for example, like when you mentioned about menstruation, I wouldn't say mine is similar. I got my period when I was 11, so a year younger. Unfortunately, I've dealt
Mhm.
with my period for many years, or fortunately, depending on how you see it. Because of, I don't know about you, but when I was young, I saw on like movies and TV shows that periods for girls was this life changing thing, and they're like, today I'm a woman. Today I've changed. Like today I know a lot of things. And when I got it, I was like, oh, well, that's it. It's like all I do is bleed. There's nothing else that is happening. Like that's just it. And my mom was like, yeah, that's it. And I was like, oh, this is very disappointing. I was like, oh, I don't like this is not fun or illuminating like I thought it would be. Um, Unfortunately for me, like when I was younger, I never got period cramps. I never like like in it like the blood wasn't that bad. The older I got, the worse it got for some reason. Um, but I think these are things I've mentioned before that we
Mhm.
change, our bodies change when we grow. So what my period experience was when I was younger, it was different to when I was a teenager, and it's different to how I am now. And those are things that I don't feel like people discuss. Maybe like you mentioned, we get the first thing
Mhm.
like use contraception to protect yourself from STDs and from pregnancy. Um, these are the different types of contraceptions. In the city, for example, they might not be the best quality, but we have access to free condoms. If you have like the
Mhm.
social security, you have access to IUDs, to implants, to different contraception methods. But nobody really follows through and tells you, oh, when you're older, these hormones affect you this way, or ovulation changes, or the relationship with your body changes. Your body is not the same body you have when you're a teenager from when you're in your 20s. And that's completely true. Like,
Yeah.
you're never going to be the same as when you were a teenager. So I think that we are privileged in the sense that maybe we got a better education and more resources since we're in the city,
Access. Mhm.
but I don't think it's like the best. I hope it gets better with time and it amplifies it and it grows. So it talks about consent. So they talk about pleasure. So they talk about how sex is a good thing, but it also has responsibilities, and you need to make sure that you choose the right options for you. So I feel like that's the way I
Yeah.
was approaching all of this when I was younger.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think I would appreciate that to be taught about consent
Mm-hmm.
because also, no, like in my generation, like you think that maybe you need to give in order to be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at least the first time we have sex will be extremely different if we know about consent because I'm not sure about everyone that is watching us, that will watch us, how the first time was
Mm-hmm.
like. But I mean, I would have liked to change it because, of course, it's like, what the heck is happening here? Like, this person just wanted and needed it, so you just give it. But I think it should be fun because if you're going to engage sexually with someone, it needs to be because you want to and not just because you have to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, something that this seems actually too.
That was
I would
what I was
actually think.
going to ask you. I know that we mentioned woohoo in the beginning. So when the characters in The Sims want to have like sexual relations, when they want to do the woohoo, does it give you the option to say yes or no? Like, does it give you that consent? Is it implied there?
And no, but it's also like you need to like to have a certain level of relationship,
Mm-hmm.
in order to agree or not. And also depending on the personality, maybe this is the free will that the sim on its own has,
Mm-hmm.
that they can themselves define if no, I don't want to do it with this person, or yes. What you can actually choose is to have woohoo for fun or
Mm-hmm.
woohoo to try for a baby.
Oh, uh-huh.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Ah, and you know what? I like that concept because I think a lot of people forget that woohoo can be done for pleasure and for fun. And so they only think of it in the reproductive aspect. Like you if you do it, it's because you want to get pregnant, and that's not the truth. And that actually relates to another point that we have is on how bodily autonomy relates to abortion rights. It's the same aspect. Maybe you are having intercourse with somebody because you want to have it, but that doesn't mean that you want to get pregnant. And if you have an unwanted pregnancy, that doesn't mean that you have to become a mother. So, how for you, Mitch, do you think that bodily autonomy is at the center and relates to abortion rights?
So exactly the same thing. Because in the end, deciding if you want to become our mother or father or parent, it's a decision. And it also happens with abortion, no? And abortion
Mm-hmm.
is normal. Abortions are happening every day, just like people like receiving newborns.
Mm-hmm.
And also in the nature, no? Like we know that there are certain animals that in that moment reject maybe the pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's something so normal for us that we need to be open on whether we need one or we actually want to maybe to complete a pregnancy, no? Because it's like, okay, right now I didn't want to be pregnant, but now it's like happening and I have always wanted to be a mother, so let's go for it. Or then it comes and it's like, no, I have never wanted those like Gail, sure, no, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to become a mother. I know that I can stop this, and I also want to reiterate something related to misinformation. No, just thinking about, for example, Trump talking about abortions, like it's like 9 month abortion that doesn't exist, 7 months abortion that doesn't exist. Like
Uh-huh.
abortions tend to happen in the first trimester. I don't want to talk about weeks, but let's talk about the first trimester when it doesn't even show anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's when people find out, and if they have access, talking once again about privilege, when
Mm-hmm.
they have access to abortions, the more quickly they do it, and probably they can delay it a little more. Maybe by the end of the first trimester, they will be able to collect the money, obtain the pills, and do it. And
Mm-hmm.
even beyond that, there are people that are able to do that, but in a small percentage, because the sooner you know, the sooner you move.
Yeah.
The access you have, the sooner you move. Not like you need to also understand that it's not the same for people living here in Mexico City versus, I don't know, whatever village that is like, I don't know, have a population of thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely need to understand that and normalize that. So abortions are an option. No, I think it would be great for the Sims to include that here as
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Mm-hmm.
No. Because imagine, no, it's like, oh, I didn't want to have this, or for example, the only forced pregnancies that the Sims experience
Hmm.
is when you're abducted by an alien. I
Oh.
know, what the heck.
Uh-huh.
And that can happen to both males and females. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
So that's when it will be great to have the option to, I don't want to complete this alien
Yeah,
pregnancy.
but I mean it's a great metaphor, abduction, being forced to be pregnant. Nuh-uh. You get the right to choose, and I do not want to have an alien child.
Exactly, exactly. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, what
These
happened? Why are we
people.
popular?
I know they want I mean, I wanted to open the door because this old lady has brought like a gourmet fruit cake. Oh, oh my gosh, I'm so rude, my neighbors.
While you
Come
say
on, come on.
hi to your neighbors, I'm gonna ask another question. We talked about this at the beginning, but right now that we are like seeing our Gale Sims doing like the best, being the best host, how are video games and character customization a perfect example of bodily autonomy? How would you say that video games can help us kind of figure out this aspect of bodily autonomy?
Oh, for example, again, no, like this type of video games in which you can personalize your character. It's also not to play around with your environment, with how you like what we already talked about, the skin tone,
Mm-hmm.
shalala, shalala, shalala. But again, no, it needs to be like this type of games in which you can create your own character or at least have different options. Like even Animal Crossing,
Mm-hmm.
I think allows you to experiment and be yourself, no? And also to accept something I really like, to be rejected by others. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are other games in which that the story is already defined by the director, the scriptwriter, in which you need to accept, just like when you're going to watch a movie,
Mm-hmm.
that this character is like that, no? Thinking about all the people that think that some series or movies are woke because they are trying to impose a character they don't like,
Mm-hmm.
when in the past they never complained, no?
Yeah.
For example, have you heard about The Last of Us, the
Yes,
video?
yes, I've heard about it. Uh-huh.
For example, The Last of Us 1, it's a game from PlayStation 3, so I don't remember the year, but it's been a long time now. Right now we are in the PlayStation 5 era.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like normal that the main character A is it's part of the LGBT community. No,
Mm-hmm.
I will name her a lesbian because I have not seen her engage with men. Uh-huh. But anyways, no, that was normal. Whatever. But then we moved to The Last of Us 2 that I think it was launched in 2020 or 2021. The pandemic like confuses me.
Mm-hmm.
And now everyone was hating her and hating other females that look very lesbian or that look like,
Mm.
I mean, according to their ideas, or that, for example, the main enemy of Ellie is this Abigail,
Mm-hmm.
Abigail, but this Abigail, um, that is someone that is super strong, that have like, like these big abs, and people were like, no, that have those type of bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what? And now they are complaining. So it's fun that I think in the video games, even in PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, those eras, I mentioned in PlayStation because it's the console I tend to play the most,
Mm-hmm.
where there were like normalized characters that look differently. But I feel that nowadays is when people are complaining the most, no?
Mm.
Uh, and I don't like it. It's not attractive. You need to understand that video games are for men, and it's like, no, it's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that also video games again are doing like this type of activism by reiterating how reality is.
Mm-hmm.
And people that don't feel comfortable playing with a character, they feel it's too woke, are a reflection how society is transforming, no?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going like to move forward with all these evolutions. they are going backwards, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want this because whatever thing I have implanted in my mind, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that video games have this power, and also, just like in movies, some video games, some others not,
Mm-hmm.
have changed how characters are dressed. So when they were like maybe over sexualizing characters,
Yeah.
now they are covering them more. So I think that gamers forget that this is a decision from the director. And it's, I think, I mean, I'm not sure if you agree, that it's also okay to have people that show their bodies,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's both,
Mm-hmm.
huh? Not only women, because when it's only women, it's like, why?
Yeah.
And also the other way around. If it's just a normal person wearing a random t-shirt, it's also fine because you are engaging with a storytelling. You need to go through that in order to understand the story. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
When it's other type of games that are not like The Sims that you just create your own story, right? But that's how I feel that video games are making a change, no?
Mm-hmm.
The people that are not that are like resisting all these changes are the gamers themselves more than the creators.
Mm-hmm. You actually answered the next question I was going to ask, which was how do video games also create these harmful stereotypes, especially against women and minorities? And you actually hit the nail for both of the topics. And I would add that I think it also contributes to this normalization. I don't know if you had the same experience, Mitch, but when I was a girl and I saw all these
Mhm.
women with like this very hegemonic body type, very skinny but also curvy and showing off a lot of skin, I was just like, well, yeah, that's normal. That's the way that all women look in video games. So I think even if you're against it, you kind of tend to normalize it because you're like, yes, that's the only option I get. And then when you see all the different games and you're like, wow, like there's a variation, either you accept it and you're like, oh, I love this. I love that I have now different options. Or like you mentioned, you're very much against it and you rally against it. And there's a lot of male gamers who explicitly say, like, oh, you can see her body hair. That's not realistic for women. Or, oh, what, her body's too squarish. That's not realistic for women. And it's like, have you seen a woman? Do you know what they look like? Because they look like
Wait,
everything. Uh huh.
exactly, exactly. What was this game? Oh my gosh, it's Horizon. Yes, yes, yes. In that game, like people were complaining because you were able, like, depending on the light and all that, to see like the hairs we all have in the face. And people are like, no, now you're adding hair to this character, like, oh, we hate you. And it's like, dude, all the humans have
Uh huh.
hair in their faces.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck is happening with you guys? So so yeah, because I don't know, if we think about the past, like these famous characters from, I don't know, Resident Evil, Jill Valentine,
Mhm.
that why it's quite famous because of the miniskirt and the top, Lara Croft to being so curvy.
Mhm.
You also think like, oh, that's how when you are a kid playing those games, when you are a girl playing those
Mhm.
games, no, oh yeah, that's how a woman should look like. But then it's not like that because you, again, let's take as an example The Last of Us. I mean, I think about Ellie,
Mhm.
and she's like small, skinny, but strong at the same time. And we have Abigail that it's like bigger and stronger, you know?
Mhm.
So, and it's something that if you pay attention on the streets, you're going to see all this diversity in how bodies look like.
Mhm. Mhm. And I agree with that. I think it's a perfect example of the way we can diversify how we are. And going back to the Sims, what is our Sims Gail doing right now? She looks sad.
Ah, yeah, she didn't like the fruit cake. It was quite bad. Yeah, and I was trying to see if we could go to the flea market, but I'm not sure why this is not clickable. But if not, let's move from
Maybe
from
she's not
here.
in the
But
mood. She's like, no, I don't
yeah,
want
no,
to.
it's like because after eating that, oh my gosh, her apartment is quite sad, but it was cheaper.
And
Mhm,
one
mhm.
other thing that I think we can discuss is, from your perspective, how can we uplift people to choose what's right for them?
Ah, that's a really and I don't want to say complicated question, but also it depends on our experiences, on our insecurities as well. No, because for example, if it was me speaking with Michelle from 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I think that I still carry like a lot of insecurities.
Mm.
But again, no, in the end it's like don't compare with others,
Mm-hmm.
right? Also social media.
Ah.
Social media
Mm-hmm.
we need to be careful with social media just because just like with and the Sims, I
Uh-huh.
feel that nowadays social media is becoming this like avatar place. Like if you were playing The Sims but sharing with others, that in fact The Sims is going to launch like an online
Mm-hmm.
version that is called Project Rene. That you need to know that not all the things you're seeing there are the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has happened to me even in my own generation that people 100% believe that I am what I post on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't think I cook, for example, just because I don't share stories about me cooking
Ah.
or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Or, those type of things. So the same goes with that. Like, yeah, it's fun to share photos on stories on Instagram, on TikTok, Facebook. Like, I don't know who's using Facebook, but just because I'm not. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a digital marketer, so Facebook for me is work. um, so it's that. Stop comparing. No, think about like yourself. Of course, I'm not a psychologist. I study communications, but if you are not able to take care of yourself or have no idea where to start, it's always great to maybe take therapy or to try different hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
Because also, I mean, I'm married to a person that lives in Spain, no? And I feel that in Spain, I don't want to also speak for all the Spaniards,
Mm-hmm.
but that they are like more calm and I feel they enjoy more life when I'm not sure again, I'm not speaking for all Mexicans, but
Mm-hmm.
being from the capital city, like your profession is like stalking you
Yeah.
and you feel that your life is your work and it shouldn't be like that because before you started a career, before you started working, you were a kid, you were a teenager
Mm-hmm.
that like listening to music, drawing, that like reading, and this is like your core and you need to take care of it. I know it's not that easy, and also again, not because of society decides beauty standards, you like to compare like, oh, this person also has this hobby and it looks more pro because on Instagram I can see that people are doing that as well and that looks fantastic. But it's like, no, 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 no. You need to come back to basics and
Mm-hmm.
accept, because if you accept yourself, you will also have more like arms to take care, or weapons, whatever, to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And also, no, like, don't give in into what others want just because you want to feel accepted, especially talking about sex or
Mm.
even kissing or
Mm-hmm.
even having a relationship. Is like, if you don't want to engage with people, if you don't feel ready, it's for a reason. Listen to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something, for example, the Sims are like, for example, Gail P um never tried to hide that she hated the fruitcake. Of course, she waited till the old, like, nice lady left the apartment
She's not
to,
rude.
to say, I will. Exactly, exactly, exactly. And also, let's not be rude, because I feel that also we are falling into these, like, egocentrical aspects, like, oh no, I need to prove that I don't like that. No, 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 it's also not like that, but to find some balance, because we are also part of a community
Mm-hmm.
and we don't want to break the old lady's heart. But in the end, it's like, accept what you want, what you don't like, accept that beauty standards depend on everybody's minds,
Mm-hmm.
and expect and push through this type of video games, no, to create new sims, to push people that create all the movies, the series, event. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say here is that we need to push to have diversity also in the entertainment we consume.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm. I think that encompasses really well what you were sharing. I know that for some people it might not be easy to choose because they don't have the option, because they still don't know that they have the choice. They have different ways that they can live out their life. But like you mentioned, I think that we shouldn't let ourselves be swayed by what other people are doing or compare ourselves to other people. Everyone is a completely different world. And with social media, everyone only shares the good parts. So remember that. But also, if you're curious about anything in regards to how you perceive yourself or the way your body is or what you might prefer for your gender or sexuality, you can always search for information. You can find communities that will help you learn that you're not alone and see kind of the path people have taken and see if that adapts well for you. So while our Sims is exploring the world, showing the autonomy she has to learn about everything, I think we're coming more close to the end of our live stream, Mitch. So I
Mhm.
think I want to ask you, what would you share to people who can be watching right now in regards to The Sims, to bodily autonomy, to what you said about the media? What do you think that is something that we need to reiterate and really refocus on?
Hmm. Again, I'm going to insist with this, like never compare. Also, maybe you because people start like traumatizing even when they are kids,
Mm.
even when seeing their parents and how their bodies look like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not positive, no?
Mm-hmm.
And we need to understand that we are ourselves. Maybe yes, genetics will make us look like some way, but that's even mandatory. Like just give it time to the time. Or our bodies, as you were mentioning, like evolve throughout the times. Like for example, my mother has a big bosom, like a
Mm-hmm.
cup CD, and I know that when I was a kid, I was scared that I was going to have that
Mm.
because I don't know, I never wanted to have like a lot of of breast. No, I didn't wanted that.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I don't know. And in fact, I never judge people that has it, but it was like in me, I don't want that,
Mm-hmm.
and it was never like that. So it's funny, like where were the genetics? Maybe it was like from another part. No,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But to keep on accepting, discovering, if there's something that you don't like, to understand why don't you like it? It's because you don't like it yourself, or because you have watched a show in which people didn't have like I don't know a small detail in your hand. I don't know to keep on accepting.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to reiterate like don't give in into what others want from you just so you are feeling accepted, no?
Mm-hmm.
And it's also okay to trust yourself, no? Like I mean, safe to choose how to use cover the topic of abortion access. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
To understand that because also having a sex life can be risky, no? Even if you want to take care of yourself, to know that not all the contraception will work 100%. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Which is normal. It's impossible. Uh-huh. To understand that people have a variety of fertility, and that will also depend whether if you are like have an unwanted pregnancy or not. Uh-huh. But also to understand that some of the good things about 2024 is the fact that our websites offer those resources for you to to have an option, no,
Mm-hmm.
to have the right to choose, and it's not something bad, no, just like here in the Sims, it's not something bad to reject a fruitcake. You can also feel comfortable by knowing that there are options out there, no,
Uh-huh.
and maybe you're feeling scared, but something that you Vianney already shared that it's so good. Like besides like the bad aspects of social media, there are good aspects related to community. And just like I shared, know that the Sims have their own community. We also have a community on our social media where you can feel safe, when you can
Mm-hmm.
feel accepted, when you can, where you can no one will judge you, because if someone judge you, that community is not for you. not something positive for you,
Hmm.
you need to think about your safety every time.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Mitch, wholeheartedly. I think that there are different ways that we can live our life and make it better. I was gonna say, for example, while you were giving this important message, our Gail P is happy, and she's happy because she left her house. She left the situation that made her unhappy. She talked to people. She chose something, a path that was gonna make her happy. Right now, she's at the karaoke. I don't know why, but she's at the karaoke, and
She's dancing.
yeah, and that's life. That's life. It's finding a situation that is making you unhappy, that is not letting you live your best life, and changing it to live the best part of your life. And that's what I think is the most important part of today's episode is that we have the power in most cases to change the things that are making us unhappy, especially when it comes to our bodily autonomy, when it comes to living our sexuality, to deciding if we want to be pregnant or not, to the relationships we create, and seeing how we want to live. For example, Gail went back to the karaoke, so she's really happy. She's really happy doing that, and she should do it because it's what makes her life really shine.
Exactly. On a Sunday.
I want to be her.
Love what? Yeah, me too. But yeah, exactly that. I really love that. And again, I think that The Sims is a really positive game because
Hmm.
of that. And I mean, it can be expensive if you buy all the expansions, but at least the main game is free.
I just want to be her. But since we're ending our live stream and before we get distracted again by the karaoke, you mentioned our resources. So for anyone who's watching us, if you need help with abortion support, you can go to safetochoose.org. You can go to howtouseabortionpill.org. If you need information on contraception, on sexual education, you have findmymethod.org. And there's also, like you mentioned, a lot of communities out there that give you information. And the Sims community, I did not know that, but we can go to the Sims Discord, I believe you've mentioned, and find people who are like minded and who kind of share the same ideas and want to explore more, and that will be great. Any final messages, Mitch? Another video game you would like to share to the people to experiment with? Any personal recommendations?
Yeah. Well, the good thing about The Sims is that also Mac friendly. Like I'm playing on a MacBook, and that's great. Um, but to know that in the digital world, that How to Use a Version Pill offers a chatbot for free. I like today it's a free. Like you can download for free things for and chat with Ali for free, 24/7, and the chatbot will have all the answers related to abortion.
Hmm.
Hmm. And for video games, yeah, I mean, in the future, if you invite me once again, I can also like join you with Gail. We can explore more. We can maybe
Yeah.
try some action games and check like how good we are. We can, I don't know, check the ones like Mario Kart, whatever. Like I have a great library, but yeah, like just also play whatever makes you feel good, no? Because there are haters everywhere. Just do whatever you love. That's the message. My
Oh.
message. I wanted to do a heart.
Oh, I
Sorry.
can't. Can you do the heart that the new young people can do? I can't do it. Where they're
This one.
like this.
So I cannot see you,
Oh yeah,
but
you
I
can't see
trust
me.
you.
I'll share you.
No.
I'll share it later.
Yeah.
But I will relay Mitch's message. Do what makes you happy. Do what gives you passion, what gives you fire. And this applies to bodily autonomy, but also applies to your life, what you want to study, what you want to work in, the friends you want to have, the relationships you want to be in. And again, I love this format of let's game. So we're gonna probably repeat it in the future with different types of things. But thank you so much, Mitch, for joining us. And if you are just watching us right now, we always upload the full episodes on our YouTube account. So please go there and watch it and see the progress that Gail P has done in the background while we've talked about bodily autonomy.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do it sometime. And also, even if it's edited and posted on YouTube, feel free to ask questions and we will be able to check it. Thank you so much, V.
Thank you, Mitch. Bye, everyone.
Bye.